Hello, and welcome to another Crack-a-Pack. Today, I will be opening 3 draft boosters from Wilds of Eldraine and making a Pack 1 Pick 1, Pack 1 Pick 2, and Pack 1 Pick 3. Let's get started. So let's open up our first pack. Toadstool Admirer. Sleight of Hand. Barrow Naughty. Red Tooth Genealogist. Torch the Tower. Brave the Wilds. Ginger Brute. Hopeful Vigil. Scarecrow Guide. Bitter Chill. Up the Beanstalk. Picnic Ruiner. Farsight Ritual. Griffin Airy. A Forest. And an Elemental Token. Alright. So for our rare, we have a spell that can look ahead into our library and it draws us a couple cards, which isn't bad, but I think I'm a bit more interested in some of the other cards. Torch the Tower stands out right away as a very good removal spell. And then we have Up the Beanstalk, which draws us cards for playing large spells. And I'm also looking at Picnic Ruiner. The adventure side can improve your creatures and helps you pay off the creature side by potentially giving it double strike. So I'm honestly pretty interested in all of these. I think for me it's really going to be between Torch the Tower and Picnic Ruiner. I think I would be happy with either of these. But I think for my first pick, Torch the Tower is going to be slightly ahead. So I'm gonna go ahead and take that and move on to pack 2. Toadstool Admirer, Diminisher Witch, Barrow Naughty, Quick Study, Torch the Tower, Hamlet Glutton, Kindled Heroism, Besotted Knight, Harried Spearguard, Twisted Sewer Witch, Gadwick's First Duel, Sir Armont the Redeemer, Fonsbane Troll, Dragon Mantle, a mountain, and a food token. Alright, so perhaps conspicuously there is another Torch the Tower here, which is maybe a little unfortunate for the player making the first pick out of this pack to have to be fighting over red with their neighbor, but good news for the pack one pick one from this pack. We have a really good rare. It is effectively a 4-mana 5/5 trample, which alone is really good, but then it has a built-in activated ability that will let it fight a creature and exile it, so you kind of have a removal spell baked into your creature if you need it, and you can do it as many times as you can put roll tokens on it. So I think the player making the pack one pick one from this pack would just snap that off and never look back. And then the pack one pick two player, who already has a Torch the Tower, is probably pretty delighted to see a second one. They can see that the rare is gone from the pack, which isn't a ton of information, but they can probably assume that it's a pretty premium rare. And just looking to see if there's anything that they might potentially want more than another Torch the Tower, but I don't think that's going to be the case. So they're just probably taking the other Torch the Tower. And then we will move on to pack 3. Water Wings, Conceited Witch, Aquatic Alchemist, Skybeast Tracker, Kindled Heroism, Titanic Growth, Protective Parents, Harried Spearguard, Glass Casket, Royal Treatment, Discerning Financier, Ingenious Prodigy, we have an anime Polluted Bonds. And a foil Yenna Redtooth Regent. Forest. A Royal Roll token and a Young Hero Roll token. Alright. So it looks like we've got a rare in every possible slot in this pack. So that's pretty lucky. And I don't know that I would be up for the Polluted Bonds, but the other two might be worth considering. Ingenious Prodigy can enable you to draw quite a few cards depending on how much you pay into it. And then Yenna can copy enchantments. And in our uncommons, we have a Royal Treatment and a Glass Casket to maybe think about. Things like the Royal Treatment would be pretty good with Yenna, since she can copy those as long as there's only one enchantment with that name. I don't know. Nothing is really super pulling me in any particular direction as this pack's pack one, pick one. So I think if it were up to me as the pack one, pick one, I would probably be looking at Ingenious Prodigy and mostly using it for that card advantage. As the player making the pack 1 pick 2 from this pack, we have a Fonsbane Troll, and I think Yenna or Royal Treatment could be interesting options here. I wish these two activated abilities weren't both at sorcery speed, because I feel like you could kind of exploit that. If you could activate Yenna to target the monster token on Fonsbane Troll, and then with that ability on the stack, activate the Fonsbane Troll to sacrifice the first monster ability, fight another creature, and then the copy would attach to it afterward. You could kind of have an endless stream of monster tokens to fight with, but I guess they didn't want you to do that, so that's a bummer. But she could still copy roll tokens that are attached to other creatures you control. If you do end up activating the Fonsbane Troll, you could try and copy another roll that you have on another creature onto it. Taking Yenna would mean that you are also in another color, so you'd kind of have to think about if you want a 3-color deck or not. I'm kind of thinking that Royal Treatment is the safer option, since it's just green and it only costs 1 mana, and all it's here to do is put a Royal Roll token onto your troll or maybe another creature so that it can activate another time. So I think that's definitely the simplest option, whereas Yenna I think could be an interesting addition to the deck, but maybe a bit more complicated, or at least requires more setup. It's actually a bit of a tough choice. I think in this case, I would maybe take Yenna to pair with the Fonsbane Troll and really try and focus on picking up things that create roll tokens, like the Royal Treatment. Because if we can get these two to work together, then there is a pretty significant upside, and at worst she is a 4-mana 4/4, which is absolutely fine, so I think I would probably take my chances on that. And then switching gears into our pack 1, pick 3, we've got to torch the towers. So I think to start, I would be pulling ahead any red cards that we have just to see what they are. And they're alright. We could maybe think about red-black rats if we wanted to take the harried spear card. But I'm not incredibly interested in either of these. And looking outside of red, I would probably also be looking at the royal treatment here. The hexproof is really good protection for your creatures, and 1 mana to blank out a removal spell is a pretty good deal. And I might also be looking at Glass Casket. It's not incredible removal, but it's still useful and can at least slow your opponent down for a little bit. But I think the royal treatment is probably just the best card in the pack right now. So I would probably just take that. And that is it for the pack 1, pick 3. So there we have it. Make sure you leave a comment and let me know what you think about each of these picks, and I would be more than happy to talk about it with you. I think this player kind of ended up having one of the most interesting choices, and I'm really curious to know if you would have taken Yenna in that situation, or would you have gone with the royal treatment, or something else entirely? I'm always open to talk about that stuff. And as always, please make sure you like and subscribe if you haven't already. I put out new crack-a-packs like this one every Monday, and a rotating variety of different Magic the Gathering ASMR videos every Friday. But that will do it for today. I very much appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day.